how has the pandemic been for you? Like you are dealing with legal issues, and you would have obviously come across a lot of fraud and scams that have been going. So how does one deal with COVID related news via legal means? That is our first question.
COVID related news. So, firstly, I'm sure, thank you for having me here, and thank you to Nyaya. And I must also add that not only is it bilingual and that the multilingual, the Nyaya portal, that all of the information and the responses to your questions are free. So you feel free to use the platform as much and get answers to all your questions. And like Apula mentioned, we also have a online platform where you can submit your questions and get experts, and you have about 170 lawyers across different expertise to give you answers to. So the pandemic has been tough for everyone, and there have been several challenges. When you mean COVID news, I believe you're referring to fake news or untrue news, right? So,
Yep.
so while that's a concern, if you look at the way the rumors around vaccinations or testing, or maybe the implications of vaccination, and generally on issues of caste, hatred, it's seen an unprecedented rise over the past couple of months, over the past year. So while firstly, before I get into the law and so what responses that we have to address such concerns, it's very prudent for anyone who sees a news and feels suspicious about its content, uh, about its genuineness and its veracity, to go check if it's a legitimate piece of information. And there are several tools available on the internet today for you to check. For instance, the government themselves have a Press Information Bureau, the PIB. They have their own fact check mechanism where they proactively look at news that is moving around social media circles and then identify as to which is in their opinion fake or which is untrue. Apart from that, there are several private initiatives as well, alt news, and many other online initiatives where you could simply be put yourself out there and check if something that is of interest to you, but you're not too sure if it's true or not. Now, on the legal question, should you be tomorrow affected by fake news, or should you be immediately impacted by something which is untrue and you believe that to be true and take actions in that? There are some legal mechanisms that can help you. For instance, our penal code or our criminal law has for a long time identified rumors and false information as to be a criminal offense. So you could, of course, go there and invite and file a complaint saying something was untrue and I believed it to be true and took certain actions. Or if there is a particular piece of information which is causing, like we say in legal language, widespread unrest or affecting peace of a particular locality, that is also a punishable offense under law. While criminal punishments on such issues of, say, fake news, misinformation, is of course difficult to prove, and there are a lot of steps to it. There are some things that we can also do apart from criminal law. So we have the Disaster Management Act, the act that the central government invoked back in the first wave to manage lockdown, to make sure all states have a way of dealing with the pandemic. As you might see now, each state now has a different way of dealing with the pandemic. Back then, during the first wave, all the states had a uniform way of dealing with the pandemic. So back then, the government had invoked the Disaster Management Act, and there are some provisions there as well for you to deal with these concerns. But before we deal with these concerns, I think it's very, very much required that if anyone in our audience and friends and family believe that there is something that you believe is untrue and is sort of dominating in your WhatsApp groups and other social media circles, it's best to check on some of these sites and also just do a simple Google search. And should that be untrue, take your decisions accordingly.